Some stories aren't about monsters or legends, they come from real life. The small, ordinary moments that don't add up. A sound in the night, a shadow that lingers too long, or something missing that can't be explained. These are the stories that make you wonder what's really happening around you. Here's one of them. The Neighbor.
You ever notice how apartments have their own rhythm? The faint sound of footsteps above you, someone dropping dishes, the hum of a TV bleeding through the walls. It's background noise, normal, but when that rhythm changes, you notice. That's what happened to Mark. He lived in a quiet apartment complex, the kind where you don't really know your neighbors, but you recognize their patterns. Late-night footsteps, the door across the hall opening every morning, the occasional muffled laugh through the walls. But one night, something caught his attention. Through the thin wall separating his living room from the unit next door, he heard the faint sound of a television. It was some old sitcom rerun, the kind with a laugh track. Nothing strange about that, except it was already past midnight, and his neighbor wasn't usually up that late. The next night, same thing. Same laugh track. Same lines. Like the TV was playing on a loop. By the third night, Mark started to get this uneasy feeling. He pressed his ear against the wall. It wasn't just the same show, it was the same episode. Word for word. The same laugh track. The same moments. At the exact same time. Days turned into weeks, and every night, right around midnight, the same sound would start. It got to the point where Mark could mouth along with the characters. One afternoon, while checking his mail, he casually asked the landlord about his neighbor. "Oh, that unit. Nobody's lived there for months," the landlord said. "The tenant moved out. It's been empty." Mark froze. He didn't know what to say. He just nodded and went back inside. That night, like clockwork, the laugh track started again. The same sitcom voices echoing through the wall of an apartment that was supposed to be empty. Mark couldn't sleep. He kept glancing at his door, half expecting someone or something to knock. And the creepiest part? When the episode ended, he swore he heard something new. Not from the TV, but from the wall itself. A soft voice, whispering, as if someone on the other side had been listening to him.
The Whistle in the Woods.
Sometimes, the things that creep into your life aren't obvious. They don't show themselves in the daylight, and they don't announce themselves with a scream. They come quietly, like a sound you can't place but can't ignore. That's what happened to a Redditor named Alex during a camping trip in the Texas backcountry. It started as a normal weekend. Alex and two friends decided to escape the city for a few days. A tent, a campfire, and nothing but the forest around them. The perfect reset. The first night, everything felt calm. Crickets chirping, a fire crackling, the smell of pine in the air. They told stories, laughed, and eventually fell asleep under the stars. But then, just past midnight, Alex woke up. At first, they thought it was the wind rustling through the trees, but then, there it was, a faint whistle. It wasn't like someone whistling a tune. It was low, hollow, almost deliberate. It came from somewhere deep in the woods, far enough that you couldn't see the source, but close enough that your skin prickled with awareness. Alex shook their head. "Probably an owl or some animal," they muttered, trying to calm themselves. But the whistle continued. Soft, steady, patterned. By the next night, the whistle returned, louder this time, and closer. Alex tried to convince themselves it was just another camper, maybe someone passing through. But every sound they could recognize, the crackle of their own fire, the rustle of branches, seemed normal. This whistle, it wasn't normal. Over the next 2 days, it became obsessive. The friends noticed it too. It came at the same time each night, always from just beyond the tree line, like someone was circling their campsite while they slept. One night, Alex decided to investigate. They grabbed a flashlight, wrapped themselves in a jacket, and quietly stepped out of the tent. The whistle started again, soft at first, then rising slightly, almost as if the forest itself was speaking. Alex followed the sound cautiously, heart racing, branches snapping underfoot. Then, something impossible happened. The whistle changed. It almost mimicked Alex's own voice. A low, hollow call that sounded like their name. Alex froze. Every instinct screamed to run. But curiosity, that dangerous human curiosity, pushed them forward. The flashlight beam bounced across the trees, and for a brief moment, Alex thought they saw movement. A shadow darted between the trunks. Not an animal, not a person they recognized. Something else. The whistle stopped. Alex turned to run back to the tent, but the forest had changed. Paths they had walked earlier were gone. The landmarks were different. Every tree looked the same. Panic set in. The whistle returned, now all around them, echoing from every direction. It wasn't coming from a single source. It was everywhere. Finally, after what felt like hours, Alex stumbled into a clearing. There, under the moonlight, was the most ordinary and terrifying sight. A small, weathered cabin, completely hidden from the trail. Smoke rose from the chimney. The front door creaked, and the whistle stopped. A man stepped out, old, wiry, with eyes that seemed to pierce the night. He smiled faintly. "I've been waiting for someone to hear it," he said. Turns out, he had lived in the woods for decades, alone. The whistle wasn't random. It was his way of marking the forest, keeping track of people who wandered too close to the cabin. And apparently, Alex had been noticed. He didn't mean harm, at least not in the violent sense. He was territorial, yes, and strange. But he was also lonely, living off the grid, communicating with the forest in ways Alex couldn't understand. By morning, the man had disappeared back into the trees. Alex ran to the campsite, their friends waiting in worried silence. The whistle never came back. Even now, Alex says they still dream about that night. Not out of fear, exactly. More a mixture of awe and unease, the kind of feeling you get when you realize how thin the line is between the world you know and the world that's quietly watching you. Because sometimes, the creepiest things in life aren't monsters. They're just people, and the secrets they keep, hidden in plain sight.
If you thought this one was unsettling, just wait until you hear the next story. Sometimes the scariest things aren't the ones you see in your house or outside your window. They're the ones that follow you when you're alone, when you're tired, and when you least expect it. This is a story about a late-night drive that turned into one of the most terrifying nights of my life. The shadowy entity in the car. It was around 2 a.m. I had just left a friend's house after a long night of gaming. We always lost track of time, but I didn't mind. It was a quiet night, no traffic, just me and the road. I wasn't scared. I was more focused on whether I should grab fast food on the way home. But then I noticed something. Up ahead, near a streetlight, there was movement. At first, I thought it was smoke from someone's chimney, but it wasn't. It was too dark, too thick, swirling like black liquid in the air. It almost looked alive. I slowed the car down, just staring. And then it darted, like it noticed me. I laughed nervously, told myself I was just tired, maybe seeing shadows. But then, in my rearview mirror, I saw it again. That same dark, mist-like shape, moving fast, like it was chasing me. I pressed on the gas. The road was completely empty, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something was keeping pace with me. I avoided looking in the mirrors for a while, convincing myself I was imagining it. But curiosity got the better of me. I glanced again, and my stomach dropped. The shadowy mass wasn't on the road anymore. It was right beside my car, not outside the window, pressed against it, like it was trying to seep through the glass. It wasn't human. It wasn't animal. It was just wrong. A swirling black fog that seemed to have a weight to it, as if it carried something heavy, something hateful. I could feel my chest tighten. I couldn't breathe. My hands were locked on the steering wheel, white-knuckled, as I sped down that road like my life depended on it. Finally, I reached a gas station. I pulled in fast, the lights from the pumps giving me some sense of safety. My heart was pounding, but when I looked around, nothing. No shadow, no mist, just silence. I sat there for a while, convincing myself it was just exhaustion, maybe headlights playing tricks on me. But when I finally got the courage to step out and stretch my legs, I noticed something that froze me in place. On the passenger side window, the one where the shadow had been pressed, there was condensation, like a breath. I called the police, told them I thought someone might have been following me, maybe even messing with my car. They came, checked the whole area, but found nothing. Not a person, not a trace. The cop gave me a strange look, like he thought I was crazy, and told me to get some rest. But here's the thing. I wasn't tired anymore, not even close. My adrenaline was through the roof. And the weirdest part, when I finally made it home and parked in my driveway, I swore I saw something dart across the corner of my yard. Just for a second. It's been years since that night. I've driven that same road dozens of times, but I've never seen the shadow again. Still, I can't shake the feeling that whatever it wasn't done with me. So the question is, what do you think I saw that night? Was it just exhaustion and paranoia? Or something darker, something real, waiting for the next lonely driver? And that's it for today's stories. Some of them will make you look twice at the empty streets at night, and others will make you think twice about what's hiding in plain sight. I want to know, which story was your favorite? Was it the shadowy entity that followed a driver, the whistle in the woods, or maybe one of the other creepy encounters we shared? Drop your answer in the comments. And if you've ever had a real-life experience that gave you chills, share that too. I might feature it in the next video. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you want more real-life creepy stories that are guaranteed to keep you up at night.